Reddit, what is your secret that you can't tell anyone because it will probably ruin your life? I'm 40 and my parents have no idea that I never actually graduated college. I went for almost 6 years and never felt like I really knew what I was doing. School wasn't necessarily hard for me, but I just couldn't bring myself to focus or be dedicated to it. My parents were super obsessed with the idea that everyone needs a degree to get any decent job, so there was a ton of pressure and dropping out wasn't an option. So, I graduated in a winter semester and decided not to walk the stage since the December ceremony was always pretty small and I knew they wouldn't think that was weird. This happened to be during the recession in the 2000s, so I had an excuse for not finding a conventionally professional job right after that. Now, I actually have a really good job with a company that focuses on hiring people based on experience, skill, and personality, so it turns out I didn't even need that degree. But I will never tell my parents the truth. I don't give my best at work because I don't care anymore. I used to give them 100% and nobody noticed and only focused on the small mistakes I made. Now I give 40 to 50% and my manager keeps bugging me why my performance has dropped compared to before. I simply don't care. The salary is fine compared to the country's standard, but in this field of work is on the lower end of the chart. I don't care, I'm overworked and underpaid, by industry standard, not countrywide standard. My brother is the product of a rape, my mom told me, and I don't know if she told him. She's passed away now. I found out I had a half-brother, from Dad, and the only reason I found out about it was because he had leukemia, and they thought I'd be a match for a blood marrow transfusion. I left my job at an electronics manufacturing company in 2002, but they continued paying me my full salary, including all incremental raises and annual bonus, until they offered me a very generous redundancy package in 2022 due to departmental restructuring, including an £85,000 lump sum contribution to my pension fund. I even got the quarterly magazine and annual Christmas cards sent to me. In March of this year, 2023, I got an invite to the 75th anniversary of the company, went along, had a great time at the free bar, and nobody realized I hadn't worked there for over 20 years. You've got to love a good administrative error. I have a bad back and from time to time it goes into a full spasm. One day I was getting out of bed, and as my foot hit the floor I went into a full spasm. I have no idea how, but a perfectly formed turd fell out the leg of my shorts and landed on the floor. Due to my spasm, I fell and landed right in the poop. The commotion woke up my GF at the time, and she ran over to check on me. I blamed the dog. I'd never actually told anyone this before. In high school, I stole the MP3 player of a classmate. Went into the locker room during PE and snatched it. I didn't steal it because I wanted it or to sell it, I just did it because she was an awful judgmental queen bee, and I wanted to get back at her. People saw me with it in hands, so the next day I was called into the principal's office. Steadfastly and self-assuredly denied everything. They looked at my bag, then called my parents, who searched my entire room for the stolen MP3 player. They never found it, so I was let go. Still got into a fistfight with the girl later though, as she knew it was me. To this day I've never admitted it to anyone, ever. I was that petty. I still don't feel regret, even though I'm usually empathetic to a fault. She was that awful to others. I recognize it was wrong though, definitely. In any case, the MP3 player was buried in my garden as soon as I got home, and this garden is currently a megastore parking lot. It's the silliest thing, don't know why I've never admitted to it. My 54-year-old secret would ruin several lives. My childhood best friend's little brother is actually my son, and his children are my grandchildren. My non-bio grandfather sexually abused me. He's in a care home with severe Alzheimer's now. Still processing it all TBH. Only my partner knows. Tried to tell my mom and she acted as if it was a normal thing to have happened to a 5-year-old kid. The story everyone knows is my boyfriend and I voluntarily left our place of work because our relationship went against policy and we valued our relationship more than our crappy jobs. The truth is we got caught fucking in my car before work and left in order to avoid repercussions. I hid the extent of my alcoholism from everyone since I was 15, I'm now 35 and 8 weeks sober. No one knows I'm sober now as they'd never known I had an alcohol issue. I've gained over 100 pounds since the start of the pandemic and fallen into the deepest depression I've ever experienced. If you were to see me in person, you wouldn't think I was depressed, I'm very good at masking it. But if you were to come to my home, you'd know. I haven't had anyone in my home in almost 2 years. Right now I have bags of garbage that stink that I need to take out. I need to vacuum and mop my floors. My bed is broken on one side so I sleep at a slant. My couch is covered in boxes, bags, and just nonsense. I haven't folded my laundry in ages. My shower door is broken. I'm really struggling and I don't have anyone. Both my parents live in different parts of the country. I'm an only child and I don't know what I'm going to do. About 11 years ago I contacted my estranged father. We had become estranged due to the fact he abused my older sister when we were children. We sent some emails back and forth and I lied that I was doing a college degree and needed help with tuition and costs. He must have sent me about £50,000 in 3 years. He found out it was a lie as he emailed the uni I said I went to, asking for a receipt for tax purposes, and I blocked him and never spoke to him again. That £50,000 was spread between me, my siblings and my mom when we were in financial difficulties, and I played it off as winning big in an online casino. I don't feel an ounce of guilt, but I'm not sure if my family would understand what I did. The man didn't pay any child support when he and my mother divorced about 12 years before this. So, I feel justified in scamming him. My wife knows and she's agreed to keep my secret. I don't think it would ruin my life currently, but here we go. When I was a kid in elementary, I was molested by one of the tutors at my school and said nothing happened when confronted about it by school officials. I had a lot of problems with learning when I was growing up, so I often needed extra help. The elementary school had people come in as tutors for kids and we'd all get like an hour once a week to catch up on things we didn't understand in class. My tutor there was this young guy, and at first I thought he was one of the coolest people I could ever meet. He would tell stories about going on cool hiking trips, scuba diving, and even running in a marathon. He'd bring snacks all the time and once even brought me a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, and I couldn't help but look up to him. Things got weird after a few weeks and it started with him becoming super touchy, but I didn't mind. I looked at him like a cool older brother. It eventually got to the point where I knew it wasn't normal and I began to feel awful when I was around him. He would tell me to give him massages because his body hurt and my touch would help him. To make everything short and nondescript, I touched places a child definitely should not touch. One day I got called to the front office and they asked me strange questions regarding his teaching style. I think they noticed I wasn't actually improving in any of my classes. The next day I was called in again, but he was there too. Essentially, they were confronting me about not getting better at reading or basic mathematics. His demeanor changed in this setting. He told them I wasn't trying hard enough and that I might have a disorder like ADHD. I didn't look at him the entire time and I felt like crying because I was disappointing the adults in my life. They even talked about telling my mom. After he left, I think the counselor noticed how weird I was and asked me if Mr. Insert last name treated me badly or did things adults shouldn't do. I lied immediately, without thought in my head. If I told them, then I'd get in trouble too, or they would have thought I was gay. She took my word and I left. The next week, when I saw him again, he was an entirely different person. He was much quieter and passive-aggressive. In fact, he pretended he barely knew me when he had been tutoring me for almost the entire year. After that year he switched schools and I never saw him again. No one knows what happened, and I was convinced my family members would call me gay if I told them, or even punish me for letting something like that happen. I didn't have the greatest childhood. We were struggling and I had no father, so I didn't have the luxury of a decent male figure in my life. I'm currently in therapy and I'm contemplating telling my therapist because I'm having some issues with my sexuality and I'm not coping in the safest ways, but I still feel bad because I really did think he was the coolest man I've ever met in my childhood despite what happened. One of my closest family members offered me sex during one of the most mentally unstable times of his life. I wasn't interested, nothing else happened, and the topic never came up again. One of the main reasons why I haven't brought it up in family is because his marriage is already unstable and I don't intend to make it worse. I fall asleep every night in horror because my former best friend and I haven't talked in 3 years because for her 21st birthday we both got massively blackout drunk and smoked. I have no idea what happened that night. But she's never answered a message I've sent since. I was once at a party for my nephew's birthday and really had to go. I noticed they had a basement bathroom, so while cake was being served, I dropped a deuce that could peel paint. I was able to sneak in / out without anyone noticing. Fast forward to after the party and my SIL and BIL were complaining about 2 other family members clogging the upstairs bathroom and stinking up the basement. They complained that the smell lasted for days after that and it had to be professionally cleaned. To this day, they blame the other couple to the point that they get angry discussing the topic. I stopped working at work 1 year back. I have no idea what the fuck they want from me because I watch 12 hours of shows on my laptop and work for 30 minutes a day by attending a team huddle and staying on mute. I won the lotto. Haven't told anyone or changed my lifestyle. I'm still going to finish my degree in data science, so I can say my money is from a new job. While addicted to meth, I accidentally got caught up working for a Nazi gang in my hometown. They were just having me smuff and collect money for them, but by the time I realized what they were all about, they weren't about to let me just stop working. So I kept doing it until I was able to leave my hometown and make it out to Tampa. The things I got involved in while working with them could put me in prison for 20 years. Most of my family think I lived a pretty normal junkie life back then, but they have no idea how easy it is to get involved with big-name dealers in a town with such a high cartel presence. I hate to say this, but I don't see myself as a doctor in the future. But I can't say anything about it because my mom already supported me financially. It's too late to back out. I lied on my job application. I do not have a college degree, I do not actually have experience in finance. They hired me anyway and paid for me to get my Series 65, and I am now a financial advisor for a major bank. By the way, I hate this job. I'm a nurse. I take care of people for a living. I can't even take care of myself. My house is literally falling apart because I was super depressed and let the little things turn into big things. My only hope is that the whole thing just collapses or something. I've tried to end my life 15 times. I'm fine now, it's been years since I felt that way, but I'm pretty sure the board of nursing looks down on that many attempts. I'm broke, I make good money now, but before I was a nurse I lived well below the poverty line. I still have debt up to my eyeballs that I'm trying to dig myself out from under. I wish bad things to happen to my ex. I love my life now, but he ruined it for a long time. The ways he hurt me and my family left their marks forever. I'm very funny and outgoing at work, my patients love me, but I'd rather sit silently at home. So, nothing too crazy, but maybe enough to lose my livelihood, thus ruining my life. My interactions with people is almost 90% scripted just to fit in certain situations. I just picked up habits and routines of the people around me that I've noticed that work to be successful in human interaction. I don't care about anything and barely about anyone else. I enjoy company, but I don't need it. I do have friends and family around me, but I don't have a need for them in particular. Might be an undiagnosed psycho or something, but I do feel certain feelings. I wouldn't get good jobs or would not have friends if I acted my natural self. Probably would have been disowned by family. Have lied my way into a job I only do half of what I am supposed to do and have won awards for it despite being 100% full of shit. Most of this job is built on reputation and being able to inspire and engage people, and I am 100% not who I say I am in my job. In my real life I am an absolute pushover who is actually desperately unhappy in my own life but have no drive or confidence to change anything, but I teach people daily how to do just that. I didn't stop doing martial arts because I was annoyed that they took in a kids group and we were expected to help coach them while still paying for our own classes. I stopped because fighting other men made me horny as hell, and that was not a context in which I wanted to interact with kids. And then I realized how fucked up it was that I was fighting other guys for my sexual gratification while they just saw it as fighting, period. So fighting on a whole kinda got shameful and disgusting. So I quit. And that's been it for today. If you have any intriguing secrets or opinions regarding the shared secrets, please feel free to share them in the comments section below. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.